We're still debriefing Ohio State's 21-7 victory over Northwestern as we're here at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center on Tuesday. I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means and Doug Lesmerises. And there were two people we talked to today, head coach Ryan Day and his head coach of the defense, Jim Knowles. And they took two different experiences into this game. And it might tell us a little bit about what happens the next time this program experiences a game like this. Doug, Ryan Day, maybe more the novice, and as with a lot of things in his career, still learning things and how to adapt to them in the future.
Yeah, Ryan Day was talking about how he was watching NFL games where there was a lot of wind to prepare for last week against Northwestern. We talked about there's a famous Patriots-Bills game from a couple years ago, where the Patriots, I think, didn't throw the ball. And there was a crazy wind game with the Browns and the Raiders a couple years ago in Cleveland that he referenced, that he was trying to watch that. And you could tell, I think Ryan Day knows he didn't do a great job with the way they called plays at Northwestern. And he was talking about he was going crazy in his own head of balancing, well, you got to button it down and just kind of run the ball, but versus we worked on all this stuff all week. And he's almost like laughing about it, that it drove him nuts because he'd never been through it before. So what matters? Now he's been through it. I think the next time he faces, now he's been snow at Michigan last year, but the next time, for instance, he faces that kind of wind, I think he'll handle it better. Because I think on this Tuesday, he kind of came in and gave us a little bit of yeah, that was crazy, and it was a little nuts for all of us, and maybe I could have done better, which is, he didn't quite say that, but I thought the way he talked in the body language gave us that idea.
Yeah, and when I said novice, I meant really just relative to that sort of conditions, which you don't encounter that often. He said there were only a few that he could even go back and look at, and then when he did, what do you really learn from him? Because you have to play football in such a different way. But Jim Knowles had been through this before, and how did that affect how they approach things last Saturday?
Yeah, and he was still the defensive coordinator at Duke back in 2015. They played Boston College in what he referred to as the Hurricane game, and they won 9-7 in a game that was basically played in the same type of weather that we saw on Saturday. So he had been through this before, and so he knew how to make adjustments. Now, if you want to question how quickly he got to those adjustments, fine. I feel like you should still be able to do that. But he knew when it was time to throw the four linebacker packages out there with E.A. Nayatote and Cody Simon. He knew when to mix it up and still stay base, because he wants the option to not show an offense that you got us. And he still wants that option to be able to do a lot of stuff. So he had answers for everything that he did on Saturday, because he's been through this before, and he knows how to answer it, whether it's stopping the run in that situation where it was a 3rd and 1. They got the stop, and then Tommy Eichenberg has to come off the field because he lost his helmet, and then they get another stop on 4th and 1 without basically what's been their most valuable defensive player for all, 9 games at this point in the season. So it's the differences there. One guy was calm in those situations and knew how to react to it and didn't have this vibe of, I don't know what to tell you. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. He knew exactly what answers to pick, even if he didn't necessarily go to him as quickly as maybe you thought he should have gone to him.
Yeah, I actually thought the defensive adjustments were, I know what people said took them a while to get to it. I mean, Northwestern did have success running the ball with the quarterback more than they wanted. Jim Knowles said that. More success on 3rd down. But again, even the way he talked about that, it was like, well, when you're in these situations, because he's been in them before, it's tough to tell a corner, a defensive back, to switch from being able to almost ignore defending the pass for 2 downs to now it's 3rd and 8, and now you have to defend it. And they did eventually sort of figure that out better as the game went along. So I think this is one of the reasons why Ryan Day went and got someone like Jim Knowles, was that last year in adverse situations, this defense didn't adjust very well, whether it was the Oregon game, whether it was a Michigan game. And this game, I think, saw a very different kind of opponent, very different situation. I thought the adjustments were better. And some of that is just the experience that Jim Knowles has and the way he knows how to communicate that stuff. We'll discuss it more on Buckeye Talk, and get the text 614-350-3315.